Toe in is where your wheels are more inverted. Okay, I am all in. That was fun. Welcome back to the garage. Currently, we find ourselves a little bit upside down on our project Outlaw Mustang Drag Car. Because today, we're going to go through steering mods, which include drilling out this hole here for a bushing for the steering column shaft, and using the ML Toys steering stabilizer and toe adjuster. On this Power Wheels Mustang, I noticed some steering slop as I kind of went up and down. And then if I hold one wheel like this and kind of go back and forth, you'll kind of notice a little bit of deflection, not much. The front here is not too bad. And then the other source of slop that I've noticed is when you have your steering column, or what I call a steering shaft, it goes inside the hole. And it will literally wiggles in back and forth, side to side. Like there's a lot of slop and play inside there. Maybe that's normal, but to me that has something to do with steering response being sloppy. To help with the steering slop, I purchased the ML Toy steering stabilizer right here. I also wanted to point out, if you have front wheels that are stock, these wheel bushings here are a good investment. The inside of here tends to get worn out, so having a new set of those will go a long way. And then finally, what they call the steering column, or looks more like a steering shaft to me. I went through and I polished this up right here. This normally goes into the rest of the steering, but oftentimes that's pretty loose, whereas it can kind of bang inside, back and forth. So to help with that, I bought these 11 millimeter outer diameter nylon flange bushings from Amazon. The inner diameter is a 9 millimeter, which is pretty close to the diameter of this. So this will slide right on like so, and should make the steering a little more smoother. So the next step is to go over to the car. I'm going to drill out the hole in the actual steering for this, and then install the rest of the parts. To start off with, I'm going to use a 7/32 drill bit to drill these holes, and then just kind of work my way up to 3/8. Go to the next size. Finally, your 3/8. Okay, I got all my parts laid out for the steering stabilizer. Just a note, there is a left hand and right hand thread for the ends, so make sure you got that part correct. And then I got my hardware, and then I'm going to use a washer on the plastic. So it should go something like this, I think. And I'm going to go ahead and get this started. This uses 3/8 16 hardware for these. You can also swap them out for traditional bolts if you want to, but these are fine. Alright, I'm a mile off, so I'm going to adjust this real quick. These right here, the nuts, they help tighten this so it doesn't move on you. That's important, so let's give it a try. If I rotate this way, everything gets bigger. If I rotate this way, it gets smaller. The other thing that's important is try to screw these in the same. You might be a little uneven, and that appears to be the case. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that real quick while dropping my hardware. This might not work. Okay, I am all in. Yeah, it's not going to work. You can see right there. Might be my steering, or I don't know. It's a little. Don't think that's supposed to happen. Well, question is, did I drill these correctly? I mean, I did drill in the center of that casting hole. Maybe I should have drilled a little more that way somehow. So here's a close-up view of how far off the steering stabilizer hole is to my steering knuckle. You can see, for the most part, I drilled it out just fine. Oddly enough, I'm a little curious about this line here. Let me try to zoom in. It's almost like if I were to cut the rod here and then rethread this in, that would get that a lot closer. So I'm going to double check the length of my rod. Should be 17 inches according to the website. Yeah, 17 on the nose. Maybe I just have some sort of weird anomaly, or I think we're off about maybe 3/8. And this is about roughly 1/2 inch. Well, I'm going to go ahead and try cutting this right at the line and then rethread in and see what happens. Okay, I got that cut off. I got it deburred. I deburred the inside, so everything's good there. It threads nicely. Since this is a left-handed thread, I think I'm going to go ahead and put this on the other wheel. So I'm going to set back up the camera and do that. That way I have plenty of adjustment. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now with it flipped around, if I twist counterclockwise or this way, it becomes larger. If I twist toward the front, clockwise, to me, it becomes smaller, which is what I need. And looks like it lines up. Okay, stabilizer's on. It does feel a lot more stable. I got my PB Blaster dry lube that I'm going to use to spray the heim joints as well as here on the steering. This is safe to use on plastics. That's why I'm using it. All I'm trying to do is kind of get things to loosen up a little bit. There we go. Now the squeak's gone. Beautiful. All right, let's talk toe in versus toe out. Toe out is where your wheels are like this, and better illustration. Your toe out is where your wheels are like this. That's the front of your car. Toe in is where your wheels are more inverted. And that's what I'm going to be doing with this car, is making it a little more toe in. Take a tape measure, go off of a known surface, or at least the best you can. I'm going to go off the inside of the tire here. And I'm going to say we're at 23.5 in the back. And then my front, we're about 23 and maybe a quarter. So that actually is a pretty good spot. If you're satisfied with your toe in and toe out adjustment, now I will take my wrench and lock those down. Make sure I'm going the right way. It's hard to tell. Nope, that is not the right way. Oh, never mind. So when I am tightening these jam nuts, I got one on each side. I'm actually supposed to go in the same direction. I was going opposite directions, which if they're both right or left hand threaded threads, sure, that'll work. But since the driver's side is left and the passenger side is right hand thread, I'll actually want to go like this to tighten them down. Trial by fire. There we go. All right, once again, double check your toe. About 23 5/8. 23, maybe 3/8. That'll work. I can always go in and adjust it on the track, or when I got the car flipped back the right way. Okay, next modification is I'm going to slightly enlarge this hole here. I'm going to quickly measure it. Getting about 373, 370. There we go. My bushing I'm going to put in place. Measures about 430. Keep in mind it's plastic, so somewhere in that range, 430 to 434. I'm going to go ahead and use a stepper drill bit. I went through and measured a couple. This one right here, when I measure it, I'm getting about 426. And then when I kind of rotate around, like this way, that's when it kind of grows. So I think we'll try this first. If I need to hog it out a tiny bit, I will. But I want a little bit of a tight fit with the bushing. This right here, just take your time. Try not to do it too crooked. Yeehaw. And hang on to the wheel. Not as easy as it looks. That was fun. See if I can fish that out or not. There we go. Well, so much for that being a walk in the park. So after realizing I don't have the right size drill bits, I went on Amazon and I just got a cheap 10.9 millimeter drill that roughly equals out to about 430 thousandths. Even if I can get one good use out of that, it'll be a win. That's much better. On this, I think I'm going to go in from this way, and if I need to, I'll trim a little bit on the front. So there's the bushing. Going to use steering shaft. Oh my goodness. Yep, this is where it's at. Nice and tight. Not a ton of wiggle or deflection. Yeah, I like this. I'll make sure to link the nylon bushings I bought for this and the drill size, just so you can do the same at home. There's the steering column shaft, insert into the bushing. Look how buttery smooth that is. Now I'm putting on my column cap here. It does not interfere with the bushing, so that's awesome. Nice and smooth. As we come to a wrap, please like and subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and be sure to check out the website www.reviveriderace.com to learn more. In the meantime, fix it, charge it, send it.